Remember last week when I was on the line, I talked a little bit about that was our second week of evacuation mode. Well, this past week was our third week of evacuation mode, and over that time, I think we were in 4 or 5 different states. We were at 7 different hotels. We practiced at 5 different hotels, 7 different practice fields, the average of which took us 45 minutes to get to by bus. And at least a Saturday night after the game, we were at least able to get home. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on the kids with regards to the academics this week because, and rightly so, with regard to the professor. We have a bye week, which is a good time for us to be able to have that. And again, as I said a week ago, I'm really proud of kind of the attitude, at least, that the kids and the players had. I think, having said that, I think there's no question that the staff, the players, it was exhausting. Now, as far as Saturday night goes, I have tremendous respect for Neil Brown and the way he coaches that team. They don't beat themselves. They're good on offense. They're good on defense. They're very good on special teams. I thought we played them. They'd gotten off to a 21-0 lead on us, and we were very much within striking distance by the end of the half. The game was still in doubt at the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, but then we didn't hold up, and they certainly did, and they wound up handling us, especially in the fourth quarter. But they outplayed us, and they certainly deserve to win that game. I think they're a very good team, and as I said, I think they're very, very, very well coached. I know for our guys, it's just good to be able to get back off the road after 3 weeks and get back home.
Thank you, Coach. Our first question has come from Dan McDonald with The Advocate. Dan, please go ahead.
Morning, Coach. I know you don't want to make any excuses for anything, but when your team was, they're in the fourth quarter, could you tell, did they still have any energy left, any enthusiasm after what they've gone through?
Yeah, Dan, no, we did. I think there was a point in time, I'm going to get my details mixed up right now, but there was a point in time when we were driving. We had an opportunity, wanted to make some noise. I think it was the other way around. They were driving. We stopped and we got a turnover. We had like a 90 yards to go. We were deep in our own territory, and we did a pretty good job of moving the ball. And then we screwed that up. Then they scored right away after that in a big run against the defense. I think it was around then, with 5 or 6 minutes left to go in the game, where the kids kind of realized, we no longer had a real shot at this. And I think you could see the fatigue in the last 5 or 6 minutes of the game. Not the fourth quarter, not the entire time. I think our guys, physically, we're in pretty good shape. But I do think mentally we were drained. But I do think at the end of the game is the first time I really saw our guys just kind of like, not give up, but they just didn't quite have it the way I would normally expect them to have it in the fourth quarter.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Okay, Dan.
Thank you, Dan. Our next questions come from Tim Smith. Tim, please go ahead.
Morning, Coach. Wondering if you could just tell us a little bit about Kilton Anderson missing the game and how you feel your offense was still able to have some success against Troy.
Yeah, no, Tim, I think that, first of all, we work 2 quarterbacks pretty evenly. That's the way we organize. So we're running first and second units simultaneously. So they actually get a reasonable amount of work done, as our threes get some work done. And we don't ask this Bryce to do the same thing that Kilton could do. So Bryce sort of has his own package, and there are a handful of plays in there that Kilton can execute pretty well that Bryce is not quite experienced enough yet to execute. So we don't ask him to do that. We made a decision, literally want to see how he ran around, how he moved around that morning. We were kind of doing a walkthrough, and it was still tender, and it didn't make sense to me. If he really had to play, could he play? Yeah, but he wouldn't have been 100%, so therefore that doesn't make sense to me, and why would you put your kid in jeopardy? So he's got a couple weeks to rest up and get that healed. I would expect him to be ready to go 2 weeks from now. I thought Bryce, for his first start as a freshman, really did hold his own. He made some mistakes, but you kind of find the mistakes he made, you kind of expect him to make. So to go against the conference champion, as a freshman and hold his own, which I think he did, I was pretty proud of that.